Thanksgiving, Christmas quickly coming, and with these holidays often comes some stress. Today we welcome back to the show licensed professional counselor David Flowers to offer some tips for us on preventing that stress. That's kind of a tall task for some folks.
Well, you got to do whatever you reasonably can.
I know, it
right?
comes with the territory. So you say we'll start with center the relationship. What do you mean by that when it comes to decision making?
Well, when you think about it, typically as the holidays start kind of getting in gear and you start getting invited to things and having discussions about who's going where and when and all that, I mean, how often do you think couples really sit down and say, all right, well, kind of here's what typically ends up on our plate. How do we really want to center us? How can we make sure that we don't get overwhelmed this year?
So maybe a little bit of a game plan.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, okay. And then talk about setting boundaries. Why is that important, especially in a busy time of year like that?
So a great little story. It was probably one of our first or second year of marriage, I guess. And we had just gone all over the place. Her dad and her, mom and step parents and just all this different.
Everyone wants to see you.
Yeah, right. And we had a small baby with us at the time, and it was just so exhausting. And I remember getting home at the end of the day and just going, I can't see doing this every Christmas. And so we really had to sit down and figure out, what can we reasonably do on the day? What kinds of adjustments do we need to make in terms of making offers? Maybe, hey, we'll catch you over the weekend or something, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to be a joyful time of year,
exactly.
Not a stressful time.
Yeah.
Let's talk about scheduling, though, events with children and take into consideration some who may be introverted or neurodivergent, things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's another thing that we don't necessarily think consciously about until our kids start kind of acting up. Right? Kids who are neurodivergent, who are introverted, we may need to consider special accommodations for them. And by that, I don't mean anything drastic. It may just be something as simple as having a place where they can go off and kind of unwind, be a little quiet, maybe get away from some of the kind of, the overstimulation we get during the holidays.
All right, money, that can always be a stressor. Any tips on spending?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's basic, right? Just try not to do anything during the holidays that you're going to regret in January. That's the best way to think of it. I don't want to say don't spend into debt. Some people, that may be their only feasible way of actually doing a good holiday for their family. But just try and sort of be conscious of what you're doing and make sure that whatever steps you're taking in November and December are things you're going to be able to live with in January.
I understand, yeah. As I always say when I show up to an occasion, I'm the gift, right? And then finally, talk about being, maybe guilted into things. We shouldn't be doing that, really.
Yeah,
how do we stop people from doing that?
Well, the problem is we take on more than we can really bear. Then we get stressed out, and then we feel sometimes a little resentful toward the people who invited us, or we're feeling like we're running ragged. So it really, again, pays to be really conscious and conscientious about what kind of commitments we're making, and really only accepting commitments that you're pretty sure you're going to be able to say, this was important, we needed to make these connections, or sometimes at least making sure it aligns with your values. We may not be super thrilled about this one, but we do feel strongly that it's important.
Gotcha. And, I like your ideas there. Maybe even break out the calendar and try to work things out.
Yeah.
Thank you, David.
Absolutely. Thank you.
I'm not stressed anymore talking about it. It's fun.
Great.
We're good.